think that this is going to be a temporary situation. No, it's not going to be. This is going to be a permanent feature. This will be a permanent feature of deploying education from now till eternity. We are sort of like moving out of our analog village into the digital world. And it's not a matter of if now, it's just a matter of when. It's compulsory that every school tune in. And that is why we need to really work hard to equip our teachers and make sure that we also equip our parents. We still have packages for parents, seminars, that we will need to educate parents as well on how to support the children at home while they are learning online. So on this note, not to take too much of our time, I want to hand you over to Dr. Ajufoh-Obi, whom I will gladly recommend to you as an expert in his own field and who has our backing to discuss with you and to give you the best of rates and the best of discount, just to ensure that you deploy the online teaching strategies in your school. I wish you as you sit back and enjoy today's session. Thank you. Welcome once again. Mr. Victor Ajufoh-Obi.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nelson Ayodele. I'm truly honored. Dr. Nelson Ayodele is someone I have a lot of admiration and respect for. I've known him in the last 5 years, and he's a great mentor to me. Thank you very much, sir. And so once again, I welcome each and every one of us to this session. I'm very excited, and I just want us to be able to get into it. And so if you have colleagues reaching out to you and they haven't joined, you can share the code with them, but try as much as possible not to allow people to distract you so that you can be able to flow along with me, as it were. And so I'm Victor Ajufoh-Obi, like we've talked about. I'm the managing partner at Web and Work Systems, a training consultancy and IT solutions firm. I'm also the regional director at Acadaplus Solutions Limited, which is an EdTech company. And so I've been doing what I'm doing now for the last 15 years. Some people look at me as a digital coach. Some people call me a tech lover. But whatever you are comfortable referring with me as, I'm someone that just enjoy using technology, using a lot of productive tools to make the lives of educators and other individuals better. So empowering you to be much more productive and effective in this journey of life and in your careers. And so that's my personal ambition. And I've worked with a lot of schools, several hundreds of individuals, educators and non-educators. And so I'm bringing all that experience to bear in this project that we've embarked on with the association. Once again, I welcome each and every one of you, as it were. So what is the situation we find ourselves? The situation we find ourselves is what you see on my screen. And that situation is one that basically talks about we are temporarily closed. And that's the situation we find ourselves as schools. We are temporarily closed. And so what do we do? How can we go about it since we are temporarily closed? What can we do? How can we go about it under these circumstances? And that's the essence of this seminar. We're going to be looking at online training 101. What do I do? How do I go about it? This is supposed to serve as a guide towards this. And so, why are we in a state of lockdown? We are aware that recently the federal government announced that from Monday, from tomorrow, there will be gradual lift of the lockdown. However, that be the case, both federal and state government have said that schools all over the nation remain closed. But do you know that 90% of schools worldwide are currently closed? And why is this? Because of the pandemic we are having to deal with. And this is a means of social distancing to ensure that we don't go ahead and bring about the spread through that institution. It's easy for us to tell adults that don't stay too close to each other, even in offices and all that. But how do you tell that to children, as it were? And we've been told from the medical experts that have been slaving themselves in the last couple of months trying to manage this pandemic across the world, that this disease is no respecter of persons. Babies have contracted it, young adults have done so, children have, not to talk of the elderly, which have been the greatest victim. And we still don't have a permanent solution. And so we have to continue to manage it. That is why the schools are closed and they will remain closed. When will the schools reopen? Unfortunately, we cannot say, as the case may be. And so one of the things I want to stress is that this is not only affecting us, but it is a global problem. According to UNESCO, we have 1.9 billion learners currently not in school. And that is huge currently. And so what do we do? How do we ensure that learning can still continue even in these times? And that's what the essence of this discussion. How do we ensure that it can continue? And what tools will we be able to use? So this is the problem. What is the answer, the solution to this problem? The same UNESCO gives us a recommendation on how we can solve this problem at this point in time. Even though it is, you might look at it as a solution for just the pandemic, but I have news for you. Just like Dr. Nelson Ayodele has said it, the way we used to do things, the way we were before in terms of how we thought, is now something that will be a thing of the past. Technology has come in, and so we have to look at how do we embrace this and move forward. And that's the essence of this partnership with NAPPS. So UNESCO have said that the answer to this problem of the students being at home while we're managing this pandemic is distance learning, because we cannot say that they should remain at home. Ideally, according to our calendar in this part of the world, third term should have started at the latest last week for schools, as it were. But we know the story. So we have to do something, because why? Third term is supposed to usually be for about 3 months, and by September, we're talking about a new academic session. And that's what usually happens. So something has to happen. So distance learning programs and platforms that schools and teachers can use reach learners remotely and limit. Distance learning will not eliminate the problem, but be able to limit this problem of education disruption. And so, but even though distance learning seems to be the answer to this gigantic problem which we have, there's a challenge with it. And what is the challenge? The challenge with it is lack of technology, access to technology, or good internet connectivity. That is the biggest challenge, and is worse off in countries like ours that are defined as third world countries. Even though internet penetration has been on the increase, Nigeria is rated as one of the fastest growing as far as when it concerns to internet penetration, but we're still very, very far. But the good news is that there is progress, and it can only get better. But what do we do even in this time with this circumstance of this kind of challenge, where we don't have systems, where we don't have access to PCs, laptops, or desktops for these children at home, as the case may be. In some instances, even the smartphone, which is a mini computer, as it were, is not even available. What do we do? And that's what we're going to be discussing. And so that is the essence of this workshop, Teaching Online 101. So that we know what do we do and how do we go about it. And we also give options for you, as it were, because this is what we do. We know, just like Dr. Nelson Ayodele mentioned at the beginning, that educators like yourself have been inundated with a lot of proposals, solutions. Some of you have already even gotten hands burned. In this period whereby it's biting so much in the economy, I talk to educators, I talk to school owners almost on a daily basis, and everybody is struggling. In some instances, match salaries have not even been paid, and that's the reality of the situation, as it were. And so what do we do? How do we go forward? That is what we're going to be discussing. And so talking about distance learning, the starting point is the question you should ask as an educator: how do I go about it? I like to always start from the basics, and that's why we designed this webinar in this way, whereby we will start from the very basics and build from there. How do we go about it? That's the question which we have. How do we go about it? And so when we talk about knowledge transfer, when we talk about teaching our children, what is happening is that there is information exchange. What is happening is that we're enlightening their minds, we're developing their minds. And so before now, the primary medium which we have done that has been face-to-face contact, where a teacher stands in front of the student and is able to transfer this knowledge onto them. But now we understand that that cannot happen, at least for now, and we have to go ahead and look at distance learning. So how do we go about it? And so when we understand that knowledge comes all the way down to information, and at the very barest minimum, you are talking about content, you're talking about data. And so you now begin to say, oh, so that means that we can be able to break this down into two parts. And what are the two parts? The first part is what we call pre-created content. Please, if you are in the meeting and you have unmuted yourself, I'll crave your indulgence and say, please mute yourself. I've tried to mute everyone once again so that we don't bring about too much background noise, as the case may be. And so I was talking about pre-created content. What that simply means is that content that we did not create ourselves. Some other persons have created this content and have put it out for us to be able to use, or for people to consume. And when they created this content, they put it on platforms such as YouTube, Khan Academy, Crash Course, and a host of other solutions. They were created by someone else. That's why they are called pre-created content. But we're focusing on the education sector. So this content has been prepared strictly for educators, as the case may be. And the other content type is what is called self-created content, which is, these are the kind of content that we create ourselves. Already you have content you've created. Your lesson notes are self-created content. The ideas you've put down on paper, the methods which you've gone ahead and said, this is how I teach the subject, is all part of your self-created content. But now you have to take that self-created content you have and put it in a medium whereby people using distance learning, your students can be able to get it and continue to benefit from your knowledge and expertise. And so how do you do this? And so the basic way to do this, sometimes you have to even have slides, PowerPoint, create it there and be able to share. You have to be able to record. Maybe you are using your phone and record yourself as you are talking. You are explaining a point. Or you are using a PC, just like I'm doing now. We're having a Zoom call and you are recording, just like we're doing, recording this session so that you can share at a later time with the students so that they can benefit. Or you are doing this and you want them to be able to connect with you live, and so you are doing some form of video conferencing whereby they see you and they can be able to interact with you there and then, live, real time. And so this is what we have defined it as. It starts with being able to identify the pre-created and the self-created one, which you have. Now, the next thing you have to do is, as an educator, is to say to yourself, now, this period of lockdown, and I'm giving you a simple strategy, you can call it a one-page document on how you should go about this. So after you've decided, oh, these are the content, you'd have started with having a small team as a school, 3-4 people, and of course, most likely it's going to be a virtual meeting, not a physical one. And you are saying, okay, this is the way we want to go about it. In our school, we have nursery school, we have primary school, we have secondary. In our school, we have early years, or we have only one of these branches. So it means that learning, which we already do, the way you teach a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old a concept is not the same way you teach a 10-year-old or a 15-year-old. So you also have to look at it from that regard, as the case may be. So you look at it from that perspective. And so as you sit down in designing your methodology, the procedure you want to use to embark on your distance learning, you have to agree on and say, what ways are we going to engage these categories of students that we have? Now, it's difficult, but not impossible for you to find one solution that might be able to cut across. as it were. But my recommendation is this. Don't be overburdened with too many technologies. You can go ahead and say, oh, one or two of these technologies is what we're going to use. Maybe 2 or 3 in total. One for the nursery, this one for the secondary, this one for the primary. And I will throw a lot more light on various technologies that you can use, and you start. So I always say keep it simple, and so that you are not overburdened, spending much time trying to manage the technology, trying to learn the technology, as against being able to engage the students via distance learning. And so after you've answered that question, the next question that you would ask is, what do I do next? What do I do next? And so to help you with answering this question of what do I do next on this thing called distance learning, Victor, that you're talking about, how do I go about it? I've heard that you say we should have meetings, decide what we should do, how we should do it. So how do we start it? And that's why we've put together a resource page on our website. And this resource page will help you answer the question. And I have excerpts from that resource page in this slide. And so we want to be able to go step by step. And from I have limited internet or no internet at all to I have reliable internet, as it were. Because why? Distance learning is a function of your internet. The critical mandatory tool in all of it, what is constant, like you educators will say, especially those in the science line, is the internet, as it were. And so that's the medium of transfer, as the case may be. And so looking a little bit at that resource page, and let me say this now, that before the end of this workshop, I will share with you this excerpt. I will share it through the chat platform so that you have this information and you can begin to run with it as early as tomorrow, as the case may be. And so the first thing now is we have to teach remotely because of COVID-19. How do I go about it? So the first point to look at is how reliable is my internet? So peradventure that you as a school or as a community, the children, some population fall into this category. I have slow and unreliable internet connectivity at home. Or how can I now engage with my students? Yes, the case is not lost. There is something that can be done. And that's what I'm sharing with you. What can be done and how you can go about it. And so what can be done? The first thing I've said is this. Remember, I started off by saying to you that your self-created content, you have to put it into a medium that is easy to share. An example of that is Microsoft PowerPoint, using PowerPoint. Even some teachers already, a lot of teachers I know are already using PowerPoint to deliver their lectures. On their own, they put those content in PowerPoint. If you have not started doing that, no problem. And one of the trainings we have coming up is how you can use something called Google Slides, which is Google's version. It's free of Microsoft's PowerPoint. How you can use it to develop your content. Can take your existing lesson notes and put it on that medium so that it becomes easier for you to share with your students remotely. And so it doesn't just stop there. You can go ahead and do this and say, oh, I've done it, I put it in my system. How do I transfer it? And one thing that we know that is very common is that a lot of people use WhatsApp. And so if the challenge here is that the internet connection is very slow, and so WhatsApp becomes a reliable means. And a lot of schools that have started the journey of distance learning have started with using this medium. As common as it is a very reliable one. This medium can allow you to do quite a whole lot, as the case may be. WhatsApp supports video. Of course, it supports audio. And at the same time, the primary one, which we all know, you are chatting on it. And you can exchange files there. And up to, I think, about 25 or 30, is it 30 or 40 even, megabytes of the file that you can exchange. Of course, you know, the higher the size, even though there's a limit, the longer it might take, and depending on the internet. And so you have created this content. Now we know that when we convert things to maybe to PDF, it helps us to reduce the size. And so one tool that you can use, and we put it there, is called Cam Scanner app. So from that same phone, let us assume you have it on your phone, as it were, you've created it on your phone. You can use Cam Scanner app to convert it. And by the way, this Cam Scanner app is an app that you find on the store, and there's the free version of it, and it allows you to do quite a whole lot. So convert that thing to PDF, and it is lighter, and you can send. The other thing PDF helps you do, especially if it's not that you need the student to do anything on the content, is that it makes sure that that content is not touched, cannot be altered. And then you can go ahead and share the content. And so create engaging content, as it were. Why must it be engaging? And because you remember the children, you do it in class, you employ different means to pass the message because of the generation where these generation, these are the ones that are born in the these children are the ones born in the internet age. So you must be able to engage them. So things that are colorful, all those stuff are there. And depending on the age, we know at the early years, it's more of colors, more of pictures that we use for them, as it were. Please, let's not forget to mute all our phones as it is. And so the next thing is leveraging existing content. And so, like I said to you, there's so much. Does someone want to ask a question? Can I go on? Hello?
Go on, sir.
Okay, so please mute your phone so that you don't bring about, because every time I hear it, I either assume that someone is trying to ask a question or maybe it's background noise. So let's try and mute it. Okay. And so the next thing I talk about is that there's a variety. So if you visit this website, you click on it, and we have a list of various educational content that are already existing. What I say to you to do, because the audiences which this content are created for are different. Yes, we have a lot of Nigerians creating content and putting up online, which is very suited for our environment. But we have more of non-Nigerians that have created this content and put it up on this medium. So I say to people, before you begin to use that content and engage your students, vet it first. So make sure that it is in line with what message, based on our own Nigerian curriculum, that we want to be able to pass with the children. I dare say that almost any kind of information you want to pass, you can be able to get something that discusses that on the internet. And so the next thing is you talk about how to share learning with students. And so I stressed a lot about WhatsApp. You can have emails. If the children are young and they don't have email addresses, then that will be to the parents. There's no how you will do distance learning without involving the parents, even if the students are maybe above 10 and maybe they are in their teens. The reason being that they need to have systems, they need to have internet facility, and of course the parents are what to bring it. So part of what you do as a school is to be able to bring them along. And the recommendation I give to you is this: send out necessary messages. If you can afford to have an online meeting with these parents, just to get their buy-in and let them know that this is the approach which you are taking, please do so that ab initio, these parents are very much aware of what you as a school is doing, and they will appreciate it. The commendation that a lot of schools that have started this are getting is huge. You understand? Because being able to take this step is something on its own. Okay, so another batch of people are trying to join. Let me just quickly admit them and we go on. Okay. And so the next thing we look at with sharing this content, we talked about WhatsApp, we talked about emails, we talked about different things. And one thing that is becoming popular, especially for young children, just to let them see how the world is what is called virtual tours. And there are a list of sites that offers these virtual tours and telling them, this is how this place is, these are these places, these are these places, even out of space. And they are able to see it on a browser. And most of these things are free at no cost. So these are some form of pre-created content that you can look at. Communicate and engage with the students is very important, because distance learning is not the same thing as face-to-face classroom. It's not the same thing as say, okay, you already know that, oh, tomorrow is Monday, and I will go Monday morning by 9, I have physics class. It's not the same. So you have to be able to communicate with them and prepare them and give room for any assignments that you are giving, as it were, except if you are doing a quiz and it's online, you want it to be online real time. And we'll discuss some of those things a little bit later. So it's very important for you to communicate and engage with the students. WhatsApp group becomes important. So you can have a WhatsApp group for your year 1 class or your primary 1 class, your primary 2 class. Yes, it will be the parents, but remember that you have already informed the parents of this distance learning project that you've embarked on. So when they're when they're being added to that group, it will not be strange to them. And more often than not, you will get their cooperation. And let me tell you for free, you will not be able to get 100% cooperation as far as distance learning is concerned. But when you implement your strategy well, and the chances are you will get a high percentage. So if you get as much as 70, 80%, it's good. So that within this period, no matter how long it is, if you are able to engage 80% of your children, whenever the schools come back, the Ministry of Education, the Commissioner for Education has said to us that, oh, third term has not started. So even if the children stay at home for 1 month, 2 months, what it means is that whenever the state announces, oh, students can go back to school, that's when third term will formally start. And that's when they will say to us that, oh, this third term is, we have to have an abridged version, because, you know, ideally, maybe September we have to go to school, or let's forfeit third term. I don't know, I'm not in the cabinet, but I'm just saying that these are the scenarios that we most likely play out, as it were. So if we have to come back to school and we have to spend time, you are better off being able focusing on saying, okay, these are the 20% of students that I could not engage by distance learning, so that you can help to bring them to STEAM, as it were. Even if you are doing those things that you taught on distance learning to them, it becomes some form of revision for those that were engaging adequately during the distance learning period, as it were. And so these are simple strategies that you can employ, and they are effective because this is what is being deployed and employed world over, as the case may be. And so looking at simple tools, Google Classroom is there. I'll talk a little bit about it. You can set assignments, bring about collaboration, get them to work together, as the case may be. Teachers can even collaborate with themselves, as it. Then the other thing that is important is to continue to assess your students' progress. Because you don't have that opportunity to see them physically, you as the teacher might have to do more to check on them. So even if you create opportunities for maybe an online assembly for the class, you might have to check on students one-on-one. And this is also another reason why you must be able to carry the parents along, as the case may be. And that's why part of what we're doing is to spend the next couple of days, 1-2 weeks, equipping you as much as possible to be able to function on this new level. And so the next level, the next stage is perhaps I have a better form of internet connection. And so I can step it up a little in terms of what I can do. If you notice, in the first one, I did not say anything about video conferencing, because the biggest demand on data, as we know it, as we normally call it, is video. Video's demand is higher than audio, and audio's demand is higher than text or files, as it were. And so, if we have videos at the highest point, it means that it cannot be a means whereby you are using to engage the students all through the campaign. Just like how you have 3, 4, 5 periods, 6, 7, 8 periods, depending on how the school is designed. You cannot be having online classes, real-time, video conferencing for that other period. These parents will complain because of data consumption. And you also, the teacher, we have even if school or whatever, I don't know what methodology, I've said, okay, we're providing this data for the teachers or something. It will become an issue. And so at this level, you know that there's opportunity to engage the students more. So first and foremost, the basic thing we say to you to do is have a space within your environment that you can control, minimize noise and everything, especially if you need to do an explanation of the concept. Maybe you decide and say, oh, from the interaction I had with the students or from the assignment I gave them, I think they're still struggling with osmosis. Let me go ahead and do an audio recording using my phone and say, explain what osmosis is, and I can send to them. You are better off being able to do that, not having to include the sound of maybe a generator, so that the noise of the generator will be higher than your own voice. So that's the essence of having a space within your home that you can effectively be able to do your video calling, you can record your videos and do your video conferencing. And just a little insight, and this insight is already in the material I shared with those of us that start joining, and it should still be on the chat, the etiquette of online meetings. One of the things we talked about is your background. Light is important. And so if you can, rely on natural light. If for any reason you're working at night, maybe you're like me, is one of the best times for me to work, then you know that natural light is not there. And so if that is the case, you have to rely on artificial light. A simple rule is that let the light source be in front of you, not behind you. So that if it's behind you, you will create a shadow that will be seen, the camera will pick up. So your face will not be seen properly. Now that's the simple rule in being able to manage that situation. Permission, just 30 seconds. Let me quickly, less than 30 seconds, admit the next batch of people that are in the waiting room. And so, the other thing to mention to us is that this video is being recorded. The one of yesterday was recorded. Of course, there are some things that I'm saying now, probably I said different yesterday. There's some additional information that they provided. So the video of yesterday is ready. We're uploading it onto a YouTube channel that will be private. What that means is that it's not open to everyone. So if you go ahead and search on YouTube, you will not see that video because we will make it private. It is just strictly for members of NAPPS that have been part of these 3 days, any of the days, to be able to go back, because we know from the onset that the internet is a challenge. And when you record these videos, even though they are very large files, we spent some hours between yesterday and after this, just working on trying to reduce the size so that when we are uploading later today, we can put it up on this thing. And if you are viewing it on YouTube, you're not dealing with the size, because YouTube has a way, and almost all social media platforms, Facebook and all that, when you upload videos, the first thing they do is to compress it further. They have very strong compressing algorithms that they use. But let me jump out of that. That's not the focus now. So video conferencing services that you can conduct for your class. Zoom is one of them, and which is the one we're using. And let me say to you quickly, which I'm sure a lot of us are aware, but if you are not aware, Zoom allows you to do meeting between 2 people on limited time. So if I'm having a one-on-one meeting with the child, I'm using Zoom. Even if we spend 45 minutes, 1 hour, there's no problem. But the free version of Zoom, which it offers, is that once you cross 2 people and you're into 3, you have a 40-minute limit for your video conferencing. Zoom is a video conferencing tool that we all know, and it's become very popular. A lot of people, especially now, in the last 1 month, they stay at home. People are having meetings using Zoom, using Hangouts, using Skype, and so on, and so forth. So it's a very reliable tool. And so it gives you that. However, the good news is, right from when this pandemic started, a lot of technology companies, the big ones, the small ones, the medium-sized ones, are also making contributions just to show support. So Zoom has said that for schools all over the world, once you apply as a user, and you submit the information and they confirm you're a school, there's a form online, and on our website, we have a link, we have the link that takes you directly to where the form is there, and you fill it. You get to use it for this period unlimited. The free version is unlimited for you. So if you are not yet using it, you feel free, especially if in accordance with your strategy that you come up with, your one-page strategy, if I may call it that, Zoom is one of the tools that you've identified that becomes necessary. You also have Google Meet. Meet is the same thing as what Zoom is doing. So you can call it a competitor to it. But Meet is part of the Google product. There's something called G Suite for Education. I'm not going to that. I'll talk a little bit about that later on. And Meet is one of them that can allow you to do video conferencing. And they've designed it to be very basic. So, of course, Zoom has a whole lot more features than Meet. But it's basic and does what you need, everything that you need to do with that. As the case may be. Of course, we already talked about our WhatsApp. So let's live stream. And so live stream is also another option. An example of live stream, a lot of us are Christians, Muslims, or otherwise. And some of us, even today, because we could not go to physical place, to the church, we have to join them, either the mosque or the church or whatever, we have to join them online. And if you notice, that's what is called live stream. And so they're streaming to us live and we're able to join. It's almost like a one-way traffic because you don't have the opportunity of one-on-one like we are doing as it is. But the good news about live stream is that it is also less demanding. Even though it's video, it is less demanding on data. So and a simple example is with almost every one of you would have joined some kind of live stream on Facebook, on Instagram, the Instagram live and all that. Those are all forms of live stream. And so it's less demanding compared to if you are doing video conferencing using a Zoom tool like we are doing. So that's one option that you can use. For instance, maybe you want to have the meeting with the parents or you want to have a class assembly. There might not be a need for too much contribution from the children. They can maybe, depending on the medium, send a chat message and you can react to it. So that option of a live stream becomes very available. Then record demonstrative videos to bring concepts to life. There's something that happens, especially even with children, even up to babies, and from working with schools this period, when even for children in early classes, they organize and say to parents, oh, we're having a conference, a Zoom conference, and just for a few minutes, some of the children, 2, 3 years old, just seeing their teacher and hearing the voices of their friends, which they, of course, they don't understand what is happening, which they've not heard in the last 5, 6 weeks, the holiday plus the lockdown period, was exciting for the children. And that's also a form of learning. You understand? So these are things that we can look at. So you can, outside the live stream and all that, you can record as it were, so you create apples. And there are different tools. Some examples we've given. Leverage content-rich channels. And these are the pre-created content we talk about. And they're among the things we talk about in terms of our trainings that are planned, which Dr. Nelson Ayodele talked about, that already is being offered at a very discounted rate for NAPPS members as it is. So Khan Academy is there, TED Ed is there, Crash Course Kids is there. They have various YouTube channels that are dedicated for children, teaching them different concepts, different scientific concepts, mathematics concepts, and a host of other things. So in this whole equation, how do I support the families? Because I've said it, Victor has said it in this presentation, that the families are part of this tripartite relationship that needs to be in sync for this distance learning project to succeed in your school. So what do you do as an educator to be able to support them and get the necessary buy-in? Ab initio, from the onset, make sure that just like you have in normal school, if I may call it that, because now the abnormal has become the new normal, but pre-COVID-19, normal school, you have a timetable. No school starts without knowing what are the subjects the children are doing, from nursery class all the way to sixth form, whatever. That happens, even university, any form, you know. So you have to provide a structure and say, oh, this is our distance learning calendar. This is our distance learning timetable for the various classes. This is what is going to happen this period. And in designing those calendars, be able to note The ones that you are doing a live so that before that time they can prepare. And outside that, you also have to remind the parents, even though you put it in the calendar. Let's assume that you have scheduled a conference for primary 2 tomorrow at 10 o'clock. You should have reminded the parents, and it's not so expensive to do so. Email, WhatsApp, especially if you have them in the WhatsApp group. Don't forget that, oh, Junior is meant to join so and so, or you do a broad message. Every year, 2 students is meant to join us on Tuesday at 10 o'clock, so that the parents have that as a reminder, and they can make adequate preparation to be able to ensure that that happens. So calendar schedules can help as it were. And so periodic live interactive updates might be important, because parents, we no parent that you and I know that has experienced something like this. The last time that we heard that there was a pandemic was almost 100 years ago, when they had to do with I think the Spanish flu and all that, and millions of people perished. So that's the last time. So no parents that might be 100 years at this point. So definitely no one in the last 2 generations most likely witnessed what is happening now. So this, you have to help them to understand. So once in a while, you keep them up to date. You might have an interactive session with them, few minutes chat as you say, so that they know. You can do it over Zoom. You can do it over Google Meet if you want to have that virtual face-to-face meeting. You can do it Skype. Skype is one beautiful tool that you can use. It is completely free. So it's not like Zoom, limit of time or limit of, and this kind of, no. Skype is 100% free. It is from Microsoft. It's 100%, and it is fantastic for video conferencing. And you can do a whole lot of things. You can even organize chats and all that. But let's leave it at that. So share information early and often. We talked about that. You can schedule one-on-one with parents, as the case may be. So remember, I mentioned to you, these companies have gone ahead to make sure that they're giving free or low-cost solutions to help schools these challenges. Acadaplus, which is the company I belong to, we have come up with a Canvas e-learning platform that you can deploy and start using. And I will talk a little bit about it later on, as the case may be, that people can start using as early as the next few days. And you don't have to worry yourself about setting it up, because it's already set up. It's virtual, it's there. All you will need is the basic training, and you can use that platform, use your username and password to engage parents as it were. So Zoom, there's Zoom web conferences. One of the online session webinars that we have that is happening early this coming week is how to use Zoom for remote classes, remote and distance learning. And so we'll be telling you how you can use it, all the tools, the fantastic tools that it has. Then there's Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams, the Microsoft 365, the one for education, they are offering it to schools free 6-month subscription. So as it were, to be able to use. And so on our website, all these links take you to the information that pertains to learning. For instance, when you're on your website and you click on this link, when you're on our website and you click on this link, it will take you directly to the form for you to apply as a school that you want to be able to use Zoom, so that that limit of 40 minutes is removed. And so the next thing is Google for Education. Google, of course, they have the resources. You can almost define me as an ambassador. Google has fantastic tools that you can use. And one of them, which a lot of people know and talk about, is the Google Classroom, as it is. So there's so much you can do as far as collaboration is concerned. And it's free for educators. There's something called the G Suite for education. Yes, as an individual, you have Gmail. You can use some of these applications, but there are limitations. The G Suite allows you to be able to use it in the way it's designed for education. Please mute your devices, please. G Suite allows you to be able to use it. And so this period, there's a process of application, but that's where we can come in and help you and ensure that that happens. And within a few days, you set up and you're ready to run, give you the necessary training. We also have, outside, if you are interested in one-on-one hand holding, we also have trainings planned for being able for you as a teacher to get very quickly get a hang of using Google Classroom. We're not only just going to be telling you what it is, we're going to be sharing with you best practices based on experience of being in the industry and working with, being a techie and also working with educators. Slack is also another one of them, as it were. So at this point in time, I'm going to pause and open up the floor for questions. And so I will stop sharing my slide for now. Before the second part is where I'm going to do simple short demos of 4 solutions that you can take advantage of, and they're mostly free. So I'm going to stop sharing my slide and the floor is open. All you need to do is raise your virtual hand. Let me see. And so let's quickly be able to take questions that you have before we continue. Okay, I see already a virtual hand. I see, I think this is, I can't see, Z. So Z has a virtual hand up. So Z, let's start with you, as the case may be. I will take 2 questions at a time so that I can deal with them before taking the next question. So Z has the hand up. I think I also saw, I'm trying to get your name. Oh, it's gone off. I think I also, oh, I think is that, I'm not sure if that's the president himself. Oh, okay. I'm seeing the hand. I'm trying to get the name, sir, but I can't see the name from the screen. But I have the hand up. So after how you will take your question, as it were. So Z, please, the floor is all yours. Don't forget to unmute your mic, and then let's take your question.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good afternoon once again, Mr. Victor.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for the knowledge being passed so far. We appreciate you a lot. So I have just a basic question, which is you've been mentioning your website address, your website, but I've not picked the address yet. You've not told us the website address. So and obviously there are a lot of information to be shared on the website. So if you don't mind, please let us have the address.
Thank you for that. And just
sorry, sorry, Mr. Victor. Yes, can you also tell us your name and your school?
Okay, that's Z. Z, can you share with us?
When you ask your question, can you your name and your school?
Okay. Yeah, I heard that. My name is Zainab Bello. I'm the school administrator. Okay, I can hear you.
Cool. Yes,
I'll answer now.
Can hear you.
My name is Zainab Bello. I'm the school administrator at Bright Up Schools. It's at 23 Oshidain Street off Akilo, Ogbagege. So the name of the school is Bright Up Schools. We run a nursery, primary, and a secondary.
Kind of free advert is this?
Okay, your comment came in. Sorry, the person that made that comment. So please, sorry, as it were, it's just for data purposes. So I won't say it's a free advert. So, but no.
Well, you did ask.
Yes, exactly. So if any person, please blame me and not Z, as it were. I'm sure.
Secondly, sir. I have a second one as well. Yes, which is I don't know. Sometime 2 days ago, I got a broadcast, like a forwarded message saying Facebook was introducing a similar video, a video conference application, sort of similar to Zoom. I don't know if you've heard anything about that.
Yes, I have, and they've also upgraded their platform. I'll talk a little about it in the demo session we are entering. And so Z has asked 2 questions.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So Z has asked 2 questions. Let me just quickly, I think I've answered them partially. And I'm going to put it in the chat, the website address that I've been talking about. That will be in the chat. In the demo, I will show a little bit about the video conference. There's the video too. Facebook has always allowed you to be able to do webinars, as it were, live, go Facebook Live, Instagram Live. But they're bringing up a whole lot of things that can allow you to do more, as it is. So let me see who else. So Z, you can put your hand down now since we've taken your question. And I think there was someone that was raising his hand. So I can't see you, but if you are still on, you can just go ahead and ask your question. There was someone that was raising his physical hand. Okay,
yes,
go ahead, sir.
My name is Mr. Bright Oko from Lufalari Group of Schools, Kano State.
Okay. Oh, welcome.
Yes, thank you, sir, Mr. Victor. I was trying to find out because we are told that Google Meet is not free for now. It will be free in September. even though it said Google Classroom is free, and Zoom also I think is free to a large extent.
Yes.
So I don't know whether you have any information about that.
Yes.
Is it true?
So
You also mentioned Google Meet.
Yes. So I think it is. So Google Meet is part of the G Suite and is free in the G Suite. Now let me just explain. Now the applications in Google Suite for Education, meaning their package which they've designed for education, is free to schools, but you have to have an application done and they're approved. Why? Because those same applications, they sell it to other people. So they want to be sure that you are an educator, so that not somebody like me, that even though I work with educators and I'm not in school, cannot go and take advantage of that and be using their product, my company, and using their products completely free. So that's why that application is there. So Google Meet came out from Hangout. So you still have Hangout is there. And I think the report I saw, I will still have to update myself on it, was saying that they already now, it's something recent, that they've decided to allow even people that have, when I say this now, I'm talking about people that have individual accounts. I have to mute people now. People that have individual, please mute yourself. I've tried to mute everyone. If you're mute, please mute it back. People that have individual Gmail accounts. From Gmail, you have access to a lot of the Google tools, but it's limited. In the G Suite, you are able to do a lot more as it is. For instance, for your individual Gmail, Google gives you 15 gigabytes of storage free. By virtue of you having a Google ID, having a Gmail account. But on the G Suite, for a start, they are giving 30 gigabytes of storage free. And means other benefits that comes with that as it is. So I think that addresses the question which you asked, sir. Okay,
yes, thank you.
All right, you're welcome, sir. Any other question? I'm looking at the chat now to see if there are any other questions. Oh, Mercy Nandi has a hand up. Mercy, can you go ahead and ask your question?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Mercy.
My question is, this, okay, thank you very much. Yeah. These mobile apps, let's take for example, Zoom. Yeah. If we are using the free mode, does it apply to parents as well, or would they have to pay for it?
Okay, so the way, thank you for the question. So let me take another question to that. So the question she has asked is, the parents, do they have to pay to use Zoom? I will address that. Outside medicine, I'm looking at the window here, participants. Who else? I think there's no other virtual hand outside medicine. I'm not seeing any other virtual hand. Okay, Princess. Princess is there. So Princess, can you also ask your question so I can take your question with that of Mercy? Princess, I see your virtual hand up. Okay. If Princess is not yet ready. So Mercy, I think Mercy was asking about Zoom. What happens now? The issue is that not Zoom is priced on a host. So what that means is that the host is the one that pays. If you are going for the pro version, the person that is receiving, that is part of the meeting, just like this now. So on this, I use a pro account. All of you are joining, I've joined this account, but none of you are paid, and we're using Zoom. But however, I'm the one that is hosting the meeting. So it is on my account that this is. So you are not paying. So what Zoom does is that you have that opportunity to do that. So they have different packages. So the point to note is the host. So the host means that that's the person that can start the meeting. Just like what we say, they are the one hosting the event, the online event. So it's that person that pays. So it is one host. So for the school, they will apply. I'm not sure they give a group of people because their pricing strategy is one host license. License is given to one host. But that one host, depending on the package, the pro package, the maximum audience you can have is 100. But if you are doing a webinar, it is a little bit more than that, as the case may be. So I think that answers that question. Any other one before we go on? Okay. Outside Princess, I'm not sure Princess.
Yes.
Ready now? Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Good evening. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I am
tell us
Princess.
Your school a little. Sorry for our
Okay. I am Princess Adeshola Dejo.
Yes.
The proprietors of Acada Academy, Mo Badagry. So I was in this meeting yesterday. So I think if I should get the question that the last person asked, maybe she's trying to ask that how can we be getting money, even as school owner or maybe as administrator, from all these online classes? Okay. I think that should be part of the question. He asked what she wants to know.
Okay.
So I have sent on your WhatsApp some have done in my school.
Okay, so I will take a look at that because it's difficult to look at that now. I will take a look at
okay.
But if it's something
okay. So I started with audio and that did not fetch me anything. Okay. And later I went. Okay. Yes, so what I'm just trying to say is that you have to, just as you have said, you have explained that as host, least you are doing for free now. Time will come, you say it's not for free again. We need to pay for it. And from there, I know you will get, or you will get what you've worked for. So you are giving it out for us for free now. Time is coming that it won't be free again. So I think that's why the question that person is really asking, as in for sustainability. How can we sustain? If you say, okay, we are buying data, we are doing Zoom classes, Google classes, Facebook, WhatsApp, animation, how can we get profit? But how can we make it? How can we sustain our schools? Okay. I think that's the question.
Okay, so I can share that. my recommendation with you, because that question you asked, and if we take a census here, we take a poll, is possibly the same question every educator on this platform is asking. Exactly. Almost every school owner that I know is asking that same question. Because since Lagos State formally announced that third term has not started, some schools that tried to start distance learning early, their approach was to say that they are starting third term online. Exactly. But when Lagos State government came out, because if you look at the broadcast that was even on Instagram, what the Honorable Commissioner, Mrs. Adefisayo, said was that information has come to their hearing. However, schools cannot start. She didn't come out and say that schools cannot start third term online, but you have to read it in between the line. She said third term has not started. So schools have to change their method. And so let me tell you what some people are doing. Some people are doing this, and I can tell you this for free. I've said, okay, we are going to be offering distance learning. Parents, we know that you are going to invest in data. Some of your time is part of your investment. You have to provide the devices. But we are providing this means, and it is a service we are rendering. And so some of them have come up with a mechanism whereby even on a monthly basis, not school fees now, they are saying, oh, you are paying for this service. And some of them have decided, and I can't say to you what you should charge. I'm just one of many, I guess, that you can consider. And said, okay, for this service, this is the amount we want you to pay. However, there are even some schools that have decided, and I know of one, I'm consulting for one currently, have said, you know what, for this period of distance learning, we are not going to charge our parents anything. Do you understand? So it's up to you. You get. But whatever you do, you must help the parents see the value, because we parents, so even though I work with educators, I empathize, I understand, but I'm also a parent. We parents, especially now, some of us have had to have salaries cut. Some of us have even lost our jobs. You understand? Because there's a huge bite in the economy. Of course. Princess, I've gotten your question. I will have, if you don't mind, just mute. If you now want to say another thing, you can unmute, so that we're not getting too much background noise. And so that's one method, one approach that you can take, or school owners that can be taken, and you let them know, okay, this service, it is at this cost, it is not school fees. Whenever they call us back, some of them are saying, whenever they call us back, okay, we look at the remaining time of the term, that if they say to us, let's do third term in 1 month, after again 3 months, maybe you go ahead and correct it. Or they're saying that, oh, since you have already done 1 month, 2 months, I don't know how long, online, so the remaining time will just be what you paid for. So there are different things that people are looking at. You understand? So that's just one approach you can take. So, Princess, I hope that answers your question.
Very well, very well, very well. I've even started making money already on it. Thank you very much.
Please, 10%. Okay.
All right. You a pastor?
Not joke. So let's quickly go on. Hilary, I can see that your virtual hand is up. And so please, Princess and every other person outside Hilary, please mute yourself so that we can be able to hear Hilary. Hilary, I see that your virtual hand is up. Please ask your question. Is Hilary still on the platform?
Yes. Yes, very true. Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Mr. Victor. Thank you for this time.
You're welcome, sir.
Yes, we appreciate all this explanation that you've done today. I just want to find out from your own opinion, which is the most parent and student-friendly platform so far that you know of, that you would like to recommend?
Okay. It's a tough one, but I will try to give you an answer. Remember my strategy I started? I don't know if you joined us from the beginning. I said that it might be difficult because needs differs. You understand? If your school is a nursery, primary, and secondary, just like, look at it this way. No two schools are the same. Even a school that has primary, secondary, is the same school. The way that they do things is different among the arms. So the same thing happens here. So every person's needs differs. Every person's approach will be different. So it's difficult to say because there are so many of them. However, the approach which you should take will be look at the category of students. What I mean by that is that what you will use, there are some tools that are designed better for children under 5. There are some tools that are good for children between 5 and above, and so on and so forth. So you have to look at it and choose and say, okay, this is this. And I give you a simple example. I'm not saying that this is the best, but I give you a simple example. The other thing I will say before I mention names is that you might decide to use 1 or 2, but not more than 3, so that you are not overburdening yourself, as the case may be, with technology. And so one of the things I know from my own little experience, that is not to say they are the only tools. For each of the categories, there are hundreds of tools that can be used. You understand? Class Dojo is very good with children in early primary and nursery school. You understand? And I don't want to go too much into it, but it's something that, for instance, using Class Dojo as a school, you have the opportunity, first and foremost, on Class Dojo, you as the parent, you open the class, you as the teacher, sorry, open the class. The first thing you do is you add the parent. The parent, because they are young people, is the one that you will not give that parent a code, because what Class Dojo is trying to do is that you as a parent has authorized your child. So you now go ahead and add your child into the class. And just a quick example of how it's used. So imagine a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, primary 1 student. They've already started being taught from our curriculum, and the little I know, that, okay, how to write short notes, simple sentences in their notebooks. So you can give an assignment, maybe a PowerPoint presentation, and they've looked at it, or they've seen a video that you put up, and you guys, in that PowerPoint, you give an assignment and say, find the dictionary meaning of these words, or write out in your science note, maybe you put 4 or 5 lines on the PowerPoint, write it out in your science note. So what Class Dojo does is that because you as a teacher, you are not there, you don't have a physical opportunity, how will you know the child does it? So Class Dojo gives the opportunity and you put the instruction there. So when you are done, you've written it in your note, take a picture and attach. Each child in your class has what is called a portfolio. So when they take a picture, that creates an opportunity for the child to have submitted the assignment to you. That's just as an example. And so you also have Google Classroom that I've talked about, the G Suite solution, as the case will be. You have the Acadaplus e-learning platform, which is Canvas as well. So different solutions are available for you. So I don't know if there are let me see the outside Hillary, if there's any other question.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Hillary.
Okay, I'm from Global International College, Lekki Phase 1.
Okay, sir. Can you introduce, can you tell us your name, sir? Oh, was that Hillary that was telling us where he's from? Okay, let's go on. So I don't think there's any other question. I'm not seeing any other virtual hands. So let's go on to the last part of this session. And so we can bring it to a close. And I go ahead and announce some of the fantastic offers which we have planned for you, as it were. All right. So am I getting some questions? Can I go on? Yeah. Okay. Next. All right. Thank you very much. So just give me a moment. I want to quickly share my slide. And the reason why I switch off my video sometimes is just trying to conserve data so that you are seeing the slides and it's not affecting the audio, which is important for you. You get. Don't worry, we'll talk about all those things when you join the using Zoom class. Just give me some seconds. And so you know that even with Zoom, you can, outside having general comments in the chat, you can even send a comment to a private person. Send a private comment, that means just you and that person. So if you have any message just for me, and you can send it through that means. It would give you that option and say, okay, send private to that person. And you see a red bracket and private is in there. I think my slide has gone off. Okay, so can you see my slides now? Are we still together?
Yes, sir.
I
can see.
Okay,
I can see. I believe everybody else can see too.
Yes,
we can see it. I can see it. Mr. Bright can see it.
Okay, thank you all very much. So please you can mute yourself. One of the things that we are asked is, what tool can I use to do assessment? So let me tell you for free that Google Forms is free and you can use it to do assessments. You understand? So Google Forms is free. You can use it to do assessments. And I will do a simple demo for you. And you can use Google Forms to also do quizzes. And by assessment, I know some of us are like, oh, I want an online real time whereby they will answer it. Some people remember that we're asked to close. Some of us have not had the opportunity of writing second term exams. So some schools had to do their exams online. Some schools use different quiz tools, but Google Forms is one that you can use and you can use for free. So let me quickly show you how this is done. As the case may be. So I'm just going to go ahead and on my browser, I have it open. Yes, there it is. And so just like what you saw on the screenshot, and so let's assume that a school, and I want to do a test online. Maybe we've explained a concept, and I want to do a test online. So this particular quiz concept is that we've done it in such a way that you have questions. Oh, I think this is one that already been used. So let me just quickly refresh. And this was the one, because I left my screen open. Okay, so I know I'd opened the blank one. Okay, so let us assume that, as we are finished and I want them to do the test. So this particular demo scenario is that I want them to take the test, take the exam, objective kind of question, A, B, C, and once they give answer, please mute yourself. Once they give their answers, and submit, it will immediately mark and tell them. And what have I done? In designing this, what we've done is that we have 20 questions and A, B, C, D, objective kind of questions. And we've told Google Forms, out of A, B, C for number 1, C is the correct answer. For number 2, D is the correct answer. So based on that, Google will be able to mark, or the form, Google Form will be able to mark and tell the child what he or she got. Okay, yes, I'm getting a message that we should add people. I'm adding them as they join, as I see it flashing. But what is happening is I think maybe internet connection is also dropping some people and they have to be added again. So I'm adding. My colleague, who is the co-host, I think apparently didn't join on time. I'm not sure if he has joined the meeting, but have been supporting me in that so that I don't break the flow too much. So quickly, just to go on. And so this is the example here. So you want to know who it is. That's why they have this first part. So that you know that it was Victor that took this one, it was John that took this one. And if you are marking, you can. The other beautiful thing about Google Forms is that it is linked to Google Sheets. Google Sheets is and all this, we have a class for it. Google Sheets is the equivalent of what you call your Microsoft Excel. So all these answers will be on the Google Sheets, and the answers are on the Google Sheet. You can export it or you can download it. If you have like a school performance management system, like maybe the Acadaplus one, you can now enter the scores, especially if you have decided that you are using that assessment in some way outside in this distance learning. So let me quickly go on. Please mute yourself. So I just put any number, sorry, there, and I click next. Once the person clicks next, the other information to also add is that you can go ahead and give a time frame which this is open. So in the communication, and the beauty of this is that this form, online form, can be sent as a link. Thompson, I don't know if you are on, if you have the link, but we're going to close it. Just send it in the WhatsApp for people, the bit.ly link for this form, so you can even try it yourself. Immediately you do it, it will give you. Doesn't matter if you know the questions or not. This is one of our workshops that we do, just to see the mechanism. So I'm not even going to be reading the questions. I will just choose answers and go as it were. Please, if you are unmuted, please mute yourself. Thank you. So far, we've had very good cooperation. I want to commend every one of us. More than 90% of us have done that. I've attended meetings whereby that's a problem. You spend half of the time trying to get everybody to mute themselves. So that's done. Like I said, the other thing here, you see, you can put points. So it's not limited to 1 point. We just did this way. So you can say question 13, even though it's objective. Question 13 carries 5 marks. Question 14, 2 marks. Question 15, 1 mark. And it will add up all of them as it is. And so I will do something that I didn't do in the previous 2 sessions. I will just show you the assessment window for this. So once I'm done, you can put any message here. So Google Forms is what you use to, especially those of you that went online, most of us did. That application, the registration you did was on Google Forms. It was done using Google Forms, and it's completely free. So if you've noticed, I've submitted my work. So as a student, it will tell me to view your score. For this particular one, we've also done it in such a way that immediately you will get an email telling you that this is your question, so that there's no debate. The child cannot come and say, no, excuse me, sir, I didn't answer that, I answered this. Immediately, automatically, you get an email, and all these things can be turned on and off. And I will show you that. Get an email saying to you that this is the 20 questions you attempted, and these are the 20 answers you gave, and this is your score. What I'm showing you now comes also as an email. So immediately I click on view your score. Right there and then, you can see it is marked. So if you notice, the one in green means I got that right. And you see at the top, assessment, 3 out of 20 points. I only got 3, of course, I was just guessing. So red means I got it wrong. But if you look at the bottom, it doesn't just stop there. It's telling me that, oh, the correct answer is economics. And in some cases, when we design forms, you can now go ahead and put under this and say, maybe a 1 or 2 line definition for the correct answer. So economics is defined, or economics is so and so. Maybe it's based on the note or the content that they've studied, so you put it there. Or you can also put it there and say, oh, because of course, the Google has marked it wrong. So it means that the correct answer we showed. So you can put that for further reading. Check Ababio. I don't know what we use now, but in our time in secondary school, check Ababio so and so chapter, as it were. And so that explains it, and that's how I got what I got. Let me quickly go to the other one. Yes, so this is the one that's done. Just to quickly show you. Okay. There's a limit to what Google Form can do. I've seen a question that just came in. I'm just trying to show the back. I don't want to have to go out. Okay. So because I'm part of and with way Google Forms even works, everything when you're using the Google Docs is based on permission. So what it means is that 3-4 people can collaborate on this. So I'm one of the people that have access to it. So quickly, I open the questions. If I click on responses, it will show me a list of the responses. Can you see that? So this particular trial, because we've done 3 of it. I've done based on this, the 3rd one. You can see, I click on responses. It's telling me the summary and say, oh, based on the questions I asked, averagely 5 points gives you medium range. It tells you how many people got it right. You are getting that question, correct question, and you can do it summary. You can do it by individual. So you look at it and say, okay, 3 people, of course, I'm the one. 3 people have done this. How did Victor fare? This particular person fare. The next person, how did he fare? You understand, and that. So even if you have 1,000 people, you can have that. At the same time, this is the sheet that I told you about. So if I click on it, it will automatically open, and I'm doing this online. So it will automatically open, and a table of all that is there. The timestamp you see is when those things were taken. So you can see this one was on the 3rd, these two were on the 2nd, as it were, and all the information is there. So somebody asked one of the questions. Let me quickly look at the chat. One of the questions someone asked, can you do theory questions? Someone asked whether you can have the question and 15-minute reminder. You cannot have, it doesn't, at least at this point, it doesn't allow intermittently reminders, but you can set the start and close period of when that form will be accessed, such that, and this is what happens to some people that try to apply maybe on the first day. After, I think by midnight, we said to you that the form will be closed. So for some people, when you went back to the form, you are getting the message that says that this form is no more accepting registration. As I said, that's because it had been closed at that time. So another person asks the question, can you take theory question? The answer is yes. The example I just gave you, and this is how people do that. So you can ask the question and create a window. And when I say create, it can be done. In the training, we will show you how this, and for the child to be able to type that information that you need. And the option you will now choose at that point in time will be the option, except it is quick answers that you are putting there. It might be the option that submit this form and you will get your answer. So you won't get answer immediately. So that option is allowing the teacher to be able to review it, because automatically the application will not be able to review if I've written 5, 6 lines response, another person has written 2, 3 lines, and this is not that yet, it's not that intelligent as it is for now. So that's how you can put those, you can handle the questions as it is. That is theory-based kind of question, and the child can listen. And if you do that, you can now have the option whereby when you now evaluate it, you are able to send it back to the child. So all these things can be done in just notification. It's not you sending individual mail. You can set it up and sort that once you are done, a mail will go to the student that, oh, your work has been reviewed, and see what you did, see what you put, and here is the result, as it were. So that's how this works. So like I said, this is just an introductory demo. We have a class for it, so we'll look at that later on. I just wanted to share that quickly with us. So let me stop. I want to look at the question. People have put some questions in. I think I've answered both questions. Theory request, quizzes. Yeah, I've added some people. Okay, fine. So any on that, if there are no other questions, any other questions, and just from my video, any other questions on that? If not, so that I can continue. Okay, I take it that there are none, so I can. Okay, so I've looked at demos. I have 4 demo scenarios, and I'm not going to take too much time on this because we also have but you have Google Classroom over time has become more or less like an LMS. Some people still argue that it's still not a full learning management system, but it is. It has so many things. So in Google Classroom, you are able to organize classes. And so this is a training for a school that we did recently. And this was showing how teachers can have their classes. So you can even use it for different categories of people, as it were. And in this case, I also talked about using video conference, which we are using now, and you can use it to have online seminars and webinars, just like we're doing. A webinar is an online seminar. And so quickly, I'm not going to show us the G Suite one, because that you would need a. I'm trying to locate the file, permit me. sorry, that you will need you will need access from the school. There are some schools I'm working with now, but I can't share without their consent, and I've not gotten that. But the individual account, means as a Gmail, and some of us are already using the individual one. I'm going to show an example using Gmail. Okay, yeah, I have it. So I'll just share my desktop again so it's easy for me. All right, so I'm already logged on to my Gmail account, my Google ID. So I go to the Google apps and I check the apps. Classroom is one of them. I have a simple account there. So I'm logged on as a teacher. I don't have any students listening, but I'm just going to show the teacher view. So Google Classroom is very simple to use. As a teacher, you create classes. When you create the classes, you invite your students. So this is a simple demo. You can see in this class, I have 2 students. These other ones, I have not invited students to join. So you can invite students through different means. Send an email, they will get it. And when you use G Suite for Education, every person, every user in G Suite for Education has let me call it an email ID, and that becomes your login ID as the case may be. The other way that you can join a class is that, and let me go into my year 5 introductory class, is you use what is called the class code. So any person that has this class code can join this class. So even if you're not sending an email, can join this class. And quickly, I'm going to jump out of this. This is very interesting. We spent hours training on this. For the difference between the teacher and the student view, one primary difference is that the students will only see string, classwork, and people. Of course, they will not see your mark. It's just like saying your marking scheme, which is that, but they won't see that as it is. So the first thing you get into is what is called a stream. The stream has that same feel of your news feeds in your social media platform where you can enter message. So what happens here, this is your announcements page. So every assignment that you give as your teacher, every announcement you make, it happens here. And so let's assume that I make an announcement that says, welcome to online or distance learning. I'm just putting anything, session. And usually sometimes the first thing that teachers tend to put here is something that gives the students an idea. Oh, for the next 1 week, we're going to be covering XYZ. So you can put that, or you're announcing a particular assignment. And quickly, so I only have 2 students here. So you can send this information to every student. Thompson, if you are online, please send me a message quickly, a private message just to confirm you're online. And so you can go ahead and send message once to all students, or you can even send, this is the stream. So it's like saying you're doing a post. So you can even send a particular message. So for instance, let's assume that I gave an assignment that was due last week, Friday, and today is Sunday, 1 week later, and Thompson have not this thing. So what I can just do is I can just go ahead and send this message directly to Thompson. No other student will see it. I can say, just let me add, where is your biology, just as an example, or this is, biology. Where's your biology assignment? So only Thompson will see this message. Now, at the same time I'm trying to post, I can post it now and immediately he will see it, or I can schedule the post. So let's assume that I click schedule, and that means that, oh, I want Thompson to see this post tomorrow morning at 8. Or I want him to see, today is 3rd, I want him to see this post by 16 will be what? Maybe 4 or we're past 4. I say 9. Let me use, because it's counting it in double digits. But let me go with tomorrow. So I want you to see this post by tomorrow, as the case may be, by 9 a.m. or by 10 a.m. So I can schedule it. And so the post will not come up there, but I know, because this is my own window. If you can see it, put it in brackets on top. It's letting me know, and it's not like the other ones, that I have a scheduled post for tomorrow that Thompson will get at 9 a.m. I can now change my mind and say, you know what, I don't want this thing to go again by that. So let me quickly jump out of this, as it were. So this is where I have my upcoming things. So there are different ways I can review. So I've given all these assignments. So this is a quick way for me to see my to-do list. So out of these assignments, this is people that I've assigned it. So I gave it to 2 students. For this particular biology assignment, nobody have sent it in. But for this Khan Academy one, somebody has turned it in. So I can even mark the assignment as the case may be. I can mark it as reviewed, meaning that I've taken a look at it, but maybe I've not assigned the mark. Or I can open it and say, okay, this particular assignment that he's done, he has gotten 78. Let's assume that he attached something and I've read what he attached. He's gotten 78. Immediately, I can turn it in. I can return it rather. So returning it means that so that something is notified that, oh, your teacher has marked your work and you got this. At the same time, I can look at all my students, do the batch review, just like what teachers do sometimes, and then send their mark. So meaning that after I've reviewed everything, I've given marks to each person, as it were. Let's assume that this mark changed. This is just a demo. You can see the chart at that time. This was last year. So let's say 80. So I can now return for everybody. See the message, return unsubmitted. Some of these assignments have been completed. Okay, because of the, are you sure that you want to return? I'll say yes. Yeah. Because Thompson has not done his assignment, that's why I'm getting that mark. So it means that I'm giving Thompson mark without him submitting assignments. Okay. So someone is asking, is Google Classroom free? Yes, it's free. It's part of the G Suite, but there's a process. You have to apply, especially if you're not using the individual one. You have to apply to Google, and then there's a process of application which we can help you with. And you prove that you're a school. It takes a little while, not too long. Can have it done in a few days and come back and then set it up and train the relevant people, and they're ready to go. Okay, so there's so much with Google Classroom. You have calendars, you have, so these are all the subjects. The last thing I'll just show, how do I create a class? It's simple, this plus. I can join a class or I can create a class, very simple. I've read it, I understand your policy, and this is year 6 biology. So what is required is always the class name, but I always like to add subject. So that is easy to organize, makes it organized. So once you do that, voila, the internet is slow. You have created the class. So our time is fast spent. So it's creating, but it will come out just like these other ones. Okay, yeah, here you go. So this is the new class that I've created. See, there's no information. I can now invite people and so on. I can have a co-teacher as an example, and a co-teacher has almost the same right as a teacher. The only thing a co-teacher cannot do is to let me call it delete or archive the class, because he or she did not create it. It's only the person that creates a class that can archive it. Somebody's asking the question, does Google Classroom happen? Yes, so I said this earlier on. The G Suite for Education, Google Classroom is now fully, the Google Meet as it's called, is now fully integrated in the Google Classroom, as it were. If I go back to, I'll show you just a glimpse of it. I've stopped sharing. Let me go back to this, my slide picture that I had. I have multiple windows open, multiple tabs open. So navigating sometimes is this thing. So let me share back. Okay, so okay, it's not on this one, but because this is this thing. Now you can turn it on and off. So Google Meet is fully integrated. What that means is that from from Google Classroom, you can decide to show just under this code the Google Meet ID for your meeting. So each class has its own. So you can decide to show it. What it means is that anytime you want to go live, from here, you can, once you click on it as a teacher, you will start. And your students, they see it, they will also click and they start. You have the calendar, so you can schedule the time whereby you will have a video conference with the students. And it will be in the calendar and they will see it and that will come up. Now, okay, let me stop there. We'll talk more about it in our session. And so the other one I want to quickly mention, and I need to get my ID for this. The other one I want to quickly mention is the Acadaplus Canvas e-learning management system that we're offering as it is. And the beauty of this is that you don't have to go the way of registering and all that. We've set up the platform. All that happens is that with a username and password, you will be able to create account for you, train you, your students are created, and within 1 or 2 days, you can start using this platform as it were. And so I'm going to log on. Okay, some other person, thank you. Okay, let me pause now before I go on to this and take to it, because I can see there are quite a lot of questions and I'm trying to read the messages as it were. So there are quite a few comments about this. Someone is asking about, does Google Classroom have an app? The answer is yes. The beautiful thing is this, that with all Google products, there are apps for it. So you have Google Classroom, there's an app, just like you have Google, there's a Gmail app, there's an app even for calendar, there's an app for Hangout. If you go to for Google Meet, if you go to the store now, you will see Google Meet. Because I think it has changed now, but before now, you will only be able to join a meeting. You can't host a meeting on your free Google account. So if I've not taken your question, please raise up your hands and ask. Okay, so if you can answer that, does Google Classroom have video? We've answered that. Can students access this on their phone? So the answer is yes. So with the app, yeah, yes. And you know, all you need is a browser. So outside the app, which is a normal app, just like how you have apps on the phone, you have the browser. So both the teacher, take note of what I'm saying, both the teacher and the student can use the app. So as a teacher, you can use the app, give your assignment, even mark, make comments, do all those things on the app. And Google Classroom is integrated to all the other products. So from Google Classroom, I didn't show it in the demo, you can be able to use your slides, your docs, your sheets, even quizzes. You can have quizzes. Online read time, that quiz, that form that you saw, you can have it in the classroom and you can be able to use it. So there's quite a whole lot, you understand? So it's something. So someone is asking, is Google Meet conferencing as robust as Zoom? I would say the answer is no. Zoom has a whole lot more features. You understand? So Google Meet is a basic one, but does a lot of video conferencing. And just like what Google does, I can tell you, the Google Classroom we are seeing today, 2-3 years ago, it was not. Even a year ago, it was not. Even before this, there are some things that they introduced because of this. For instance, Google Meet, when they started, I think it was less than, how many? I can't remember. But now, Google Meet, you can have it's up to 250 people that you can host at a time. But that was not the number. And even, for instance, Skype used to be 25. But after, like in the last 1-2 years, they had increased the number that you can have a video conference call with at a time on Skype to 50. You understand? So just giving instances and as it were. So I don't know if I've answered all the questions. If you have any question quickly, I want to be able to do this and so that we don't go over for too long, too much. Okay, so no other questions on that. Can I go on?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm just trying to give me a moment. Let me try and retrieve the password. I have it on my system for the account. Where? So just give me a minute. Okay. So I'm sharing my.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
True.
Hello, Dr. Nelson. You want to make some statement? Oh, I'm still seeing some more questions. Okay.
Yes. Are you rounding up now?
Yes, I am.
Yes. I just letting you know our time is almost up. It's close to 4.
Yes. Okay, so
are you rounding off now?
Yes, I am. So that I can conclude, I'll just show the page. I won't talk so much on it. I know that there's a possibility of another session, but so I'll conclude now. I'm concluding now. In the next 10 minutes, I'll be done, if that's okay. Is that okay, Dr. Nelson? Okay, so I take that to mean yes. So I'm not going to go into it, but I think I've shared. Let me share my. So just like I was saying, so can you see my screen? So this is the Acadaplus environment, and this is the learning management system. This is the Canvas one from Acadaplus, as it were. So I'm not going to go, just similar to how you have Google Classroom, you have the class, and I just go in, you can have courses, you can show what you want it. You can be able to start and say, this is what we're doing. You can do assignments, quizzes, announcements, do your grading, put your syllabus. I can't go into all of these things, but it's very much available, and you have them as modules, as the case may be, and so on. So this is a teacher view that I did, but let me go out of this quickly. And the last thing, I'm not going to open any window, I'll just talk on it. The last point before we look at our special offers. The last point is, which we're all very familiar with, as it were. Okay, and so it's Facebook, using Facebook. So you have Facebook groups, and you can have groups, and you can put your students in groups and use it, and you can collaborate video, audio, and all that on Facebook. You can do that. Okay, so these are the upcoming seminars that we have, and for I think most of you are enrolled. We'll send it to you via mail and the details. Just like Dr. Nelson Ayodele talked about, all these seminars are normally between 8,000 and 10,000, but we've discounted it by nearly 50%, and there's still group discount. So you're talking about between 3,000 and 5,000 for especially the basic ones. And so, for instance, you have basic procedure for teaching via WhatsApp. What do you do? How do you do it? The tools that you can use to support. How do you use Zoom? So we have it on 2 levels, the basic one and even on the advanced, as it were. Google Classroom, we have it on 2 levels. So these are the trainings that are coming. So if you haven't joined, if you didn't register, please go to the registration link so that we have your email and you start getting messages from us by tomorrow. From what I'm told, Dr. Nelson, I think as early as Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll have 1 or 2 of these courses ready to go online and have the online class. And there we go details. And I'll be sharing with you, not just how it works, but my experiences of what works best as it is over time. Having used some of these tools, a lot of them, and also teach people how to use it. So that's also available. And also, if you're interested, you can send me a direct message. If you're interested, so for the association.
Mr. Victor, did you mute yourself? We can't hear you.
No, I'm not muted. Can you hear me? It's my video that is...
Yes,
I can't hear you, Mr. Victor.
Other people can hear me. Can you hear me now? Can the rest of people in the room just, you can unmute and...
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Victor. I don't know about...
I can hear you as well. Probably Dr.
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you also. I think, Doctor.
I can hear you.
Okay. So
go on, Mr. Victor.
Okay. So, and just like I was saying, our e-learning platform, we have a special offer discounted. If you're interested, you can send a message. I will also send the email because I'm trying to bring this to a close. There's already a negotiated and agreed special price for member schools of NAPPS that are interested for Acadaplus. And within 1-2 days, you can be fully set up. The training is done, and you're going. The other thing I can let you know is that for the first 5 that we are getting, you're able to set it up this week and you start using it this week. So I encourage you to be among that. So don't wait to get the email. You can go ahead and send me a private message, put your name and your contact, and a member of my team will get across to you. Do well to mention that you're from NAPPS, as it were. And so that brings us to the end of this conversation, of this presentation. The remaining 5 minutes, I said extra 10 minutes. So the remaining 7 minutes, we can use it and ask any questions that we might have. So the floor is open for any questions that you might have. So just raise your hands. I'm checking now. You're very much welcome. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and put it there, as it were, or quickly just ask. We have less than 7 minutes to go.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, please.
Have you finished speaking, Mr. Victor?
Yes, we are taking questions now. So go ahead. If you have any comments, you can.
Hello, Mr. Victor.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I sent it as a message.
Okay.
How do you link from Google Classroom to Google Hangout? Assuming you have a video on Google Hangout, what do you do? You have to go. Yes, go ahead, sir.
I didn't get that. Finish it. Finish the question quickly.
From Google Classroom, you're already in Google Classroom. You are working with it. Maybe you have a video or you want to do something on Google Hangout. How do you link? Do you have to shut down Google Classroom to go there?
And that's what I said before. Now, take note. And if you look at the training we are offering the full G Suite for Education Google Classroom package. And I've said that for that particular one, not necessarily the individual account. I know that there's some discussions from Google. I have to update myself. I know in the last week I was reading that they were opening the Hangouts for the Meet, rather. I'm talking about Meet now. It's Google Meet. It used to be Hangout and Chat. So they're opening Google Meet for individuals. As it is before now, what you could do is that you could only join, and I said this earlier on, you could only join a meet, or you could only join a hosted meeting, but you could not host it, as it were. So in answering your question, the G Suite for Education package, you have it integrated, and when it's configured and set up for you, from inside Google Classroom, you have a link there. At the same time, Google Classroom has its own version of calendar. When you install Google Classroom, when you create a class, what happens is that virtual class is created. You have the directory at the same time. You have the directory at the same time, as it were. You have the directory there, and you have the directory is in the drive. So what that happens from there, you can see. So you can even inside the calendar for you as a teacher for your class, set your Hangout meeting. We are going to have a Google Meet meeting on Monday at so and so time. Your students will see it, and when that time comes, if they click on it, automatically it will launch Meet. Now, Meet is not opening inside classroom. It's just the link. It will launch Meet as a browser. All these things are happening on the browser. So as another tab on your browser, and then you can have your meeting.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yes. So we have four more minutes. And Pastor Nelson Ayodele, I'm not sure there are any other questions. I know you have some things to contribute. Pastor Nelson Ayodele, you have the floor. Okay, so I think Pastor Nelson, there are no comments. Pastor Nelson, can you hear me? Hello, any other questions? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Lillian, and I'm a preschool teacher from Caliban School. Sir,
you're welcome.
I want to know if I can open, like I'm using, like you said yesterday, the preschoolers can use the Class Dojo.
Yes.
Now, if I want to use the Jolly Phonics app, for example, inside the Class Dojo, is it possible? Because I work more with.
Okay, so what I cannot say now, a lot of the applications, I know. Can you mute yourself, please? A lot of the applications have integrations, and I can't say specifically for the Jolly Phonics. I will have to research. So you can send me a private message, and I can do a research, or have a member of my team do the research and get back to you. But a lot of them have integrations. As an example, Khan Academy has a direct integration to Google Classroom. What that means is that you can do something in Khan Academy, you are assessed, and it goes ahead and it's populated in the results is shown in your Google Classroom, as the case may be.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for that.
You're welcome.
My second question is there any plans such as for the preschool teachers to have more enlightenment on how to use the Class Dojo?
Okay, so we have a set, so I can say yes to that. So we'll just fit it into the calendar. So we're looking at running programs over the next 4 weeks. So we'll fit it. Now that you've said it, if there's any other person that is in that category, I didn't have time to set a poll yet, please send me a direct message, a private message saying that you're also interested in Class Dojo, so that we can be able to also bring it forward. We're looking at maybe next week or the upper week for it, but we can look at how we can accommodate it in the coming days.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Please leave your infos on how we contact you. Thank you. God bless you, sir.
So, all right, I'm typing my email. But like I said, so that you can send me a private message or this thing and let me know, and I can have someone talk to you and as it were. You can also have a one-on-one session between you and your team if the group session is not coming anytime soon for you. So I'm very much online. So if you call me and I can't pick, you can send me a message, or you can look for me on Facebook, Instagram, and drop a message from me.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So I've also dropped my number there. And like most of you are already in touch with Dr. Nelson Ayodele and SMI. So you can also channel all your requests through, and we'll definitely be able to attend to you. And so we have 1 more minute. Dr. Nelson Ayodele, the floor is yours. I'm done for now. I think Dr. Nelson Ayodele, can you hear me?
Hello, I don't think he can hear you.
Okay, I'm not sure he can hear. So maybe you're still having problems. So
Yes.
I think that brings us to the end. If you still have any comments or messages, don't hesitate.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Victor.
All right.
It's not a question, but it's just an appreciation. I really appreciate what you have been doing. I enjoyed the yesterday lecture. I was so taken. So, and I want this to continue. And I also want to appreciate the National Association of Proprietors of Private School as well.
Yes.
That have organized this. So thank you very much. Once again, my name is Princess Adeshola Dejo, the Proprietors of Itobe Based Academy, Badagry. Thank you. I'm looking forward for the day I will invite you down to Badagry.
Okay, so for now it have to be virtual, but I'm very much available. And so the recording,
okay,
messages.
Thank you.
The recording for yesterday, before the end of today, will be on YouTube, and we are going to send a message out to people. This one between the next 2 days, because it has to be edited and compressed so that we can upload it without spending so much money on data trying to upload it. And so we'll have to have that done, and that will also be up. So we're only putting up the second batch and third batch, as it were. For those of you that have asked for the slides, from the video, you'll be able to see all the slides there and be able to follow it. And for as it were. So if there are parts you miss, you will see it there. The other thing I will recommend, when you get the request for you to go to our YouTube channel, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and also follow us. We are going to be putting some free videos inside that channel that we're keeping private for NAPPS. So that you subscribe and also click on notification so that when that information is put there, you get it. Because even though we're putting it there, it won't be there forever, so that you can be able to take advantage of it. Thank you so very much. It's been an honor to be able to talk to you, spend time with you over the last 2 days. And I want to say a very big thank you to the president and the members of the executive that have allowed this partnership to happen, and for them being so very visionary in to bring all of us together. And so God bless you all. We're going to be working together, and definitely I look forward to dealing with you all more. Thank you all very much, and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Victor.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. So
yeah, bye.
The meeting is over. Thank you all so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Victor. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Victor. God bless you. Okay, bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. So feel free to tweet.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, all.
I've not left.
Okay. You want to follow me and be among the last batch of people?
To end the meeting.
Okay. So I just allow us to exit when it's, and then we can. So those of you, don't forget, there's a message that pops up. Just rate how the session had gone. We still have a few more people left in the room, so please exit. I've removed some people, as it were. Thank you all.
Wow.
Èmi ti assume pé ẹ ti wà nínú Zoom interface already ni, so that wà nínú Zoom yẹn kò máa click settings níbi ìsàlẹ̀ yẹn. Tàbí click settings wọ́n máa gbé under interface wá. So ẹ máa ibẹ̀ yẹn ẹ ti máa rí mail yín àti kíní gan. Ìmí wà ọdẹ kó ti máa gbé picture yẹn síbẹ̀ gan. Picture tó wà níbi mail yín bọ̀ tó bá gbé síbẹ̀ ẹ kàn máa rí arrow kan níwájú mail yín yẹn. Máa click ẹ̀ sí máa gbé picture ẹ máa gbé picture tó bá fi síbẹ̀.